All right, committee will reconvene. Chair now recognizes Mr. Perry from Pennsylvania for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Galanis, I'm going to turn my questions to you. I hope I can see you on the screen here shortly. Are you there, Mr. Galanis? There you are. Okay. If we can jump right into another Biden-Chinese deal made while Joe Biden was in office, a deal I think you described in your interview as a quid pro quo, where the Chinese sent millions in exchange for a post-VP job for President Biden. Can you tell us what was Burnham?
Yeah, so Burnham was an 85-year-old financial services company based in New York that owned an asset management firm and a securities dealer. But relative to the Chinese, it was an unimportant, small player. I'll give you scale, $1.5 billion versus $300 billion Chinese company.
So what was Hunter Biden's interest in working with them, knowing that that was the situation?
I think Hunter Biden was already working with them through the fund that was created. The BHR, Harvest was the H, and is described in some of Hunter's emails that I had provided to the committee. He described the activity with BHR, being the Harvest activity, as one of his only focuses, and his other focus would be the activity between Harvest directly and Burnham directly in a combination. So his stated objective, in his own words, in writing, was those were to be his only focus and his only priority in working with the Chinese on a go-forward basis.
Did you also say that he said the interest in working with Burnham was to make billions instead of millions? Is that right?
Yeah, I did say that, and that was on the basis of looking to become a much larger company where his equity interest would be worth a lot of money, billions, not millions.
And you said the Harvest Fund was a $300 billion Chinese financial services company. Was it likely connected, or was it connected closely to the Chinese Communist Party and the Chinese government?
That's my understanding.
Okay. And who was Henry Zhao?
He's been described to me consistently by Devin and Hunter as the chairman, but he's essentially the head of Harvest. I think he's had a couple of different roles over the years, but chairman is the best way. He was always characterized as chairman and the decision maker for that entity.
Right, so he's the chairman of the $300 billion Chinese entity connected to the Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party, and he was based out of where? Where was his base of operations? In
Beijing, China, PRC.
And like you said, you heard him referred to occasionally as Chairman Zhao, right?
Most of the time it was Chairman Zhao out of a sort of a respect for the chairman, yes.
Okay, so now there came to a point where Hunter wanted to bring Henry Zhao, the chairman of Harvest, and their billions of dollars from China into business with Burnham. Is that right?
That's correct. That's correct, Congressman.
And why would he do that?
It was a financial decision. Chinese offered money, and he offered political access.
Okay.
It was in exchange.
Fair enough. It's pretty obvious what Harvest brings, right? $300 billion. But why would Harvest be interested in Burnham versus other financial institutions? I'm sure there are other ones out there, and like you said, it was fairly small. Harvest is $300 billion. Why would they care about this small Burnham? What was the interest for them?
I mean, the self-evident answer is the political access, and then sort of underscoring that is there are at least 2 emails produced that talk about exactly that, the influence of what Henry Zhao Hunter had characterized as Henry Zhao's interest in the access vehicle. So that was sort of explicit and in writing.
Okay, so Joe Biden was going to sit on the board of a Chinese company connected to the highest levels of the Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party. Stepping back in your dealings with Hunter, what was the value that Hunter brought to the table?
It was the access to the inducement to induce companies like this Harvest Group to participate in Burnham. So it was a we'll call it relationship capital that he brought to the table, not financial capital.
Relationship
But it had an
capital that
economic value to the business.
relationship capital that you described as the Biden lift. What was the Biden lift?
Biden lift was simply Hunter's access to his father and his father's power and prestige in influencing the growth of a financial services business, which is largely reliant on its reputation and ability to attract other clients.
I'm running out of time here, but it sounds like a quid pro quo to me. Sir, what did Harvest did in fact invest money in Burnham? You called it a material inducement. Can you explain what that means? And do you know how much the Chinese paid?
I believe, I was out of the picture toward the end of 2015. I believe that they ended up paying $4 million into Burnham. I believe, though, as a result of legal entanglements that I encountered, that the transactions didn't happen in the way people expected or that they had written about in terms of what the Chinese were expected to do.
All right, Mr. Galanis, I just want one last question. I'm going to show you a draft email that you provided to the committee. Mr. Chairman, I yield.
Objection on time. Good job. Chair now recognizes Ms. Crockett for 1 minute, or 5 minutes.
1 minute. All right. First of all, Mr. Bobulinski, do you know who Elections LLC is? Yeah.
Mike.